Hello? Yes. Hello, everyone. First of all, thank you so much for sitting it out the whole day, listening to different ideas, thoughts. It's just amazing to be a part of such events. Thanks, Amel. Hi. So, I'm Kirtana Shetty. I will be the panel moderator today. So we are actually discussing the role of tech in the ever-evolving food space today. So while we were thinking, this is such an amazing, discussion, of course, we were thinking, we could probably make it more interesting by giving it a 360-degree view of like, for example, we are talking with Navneet today, who's from Americana, a restaurant perspective. Then we have Amel from FoodX, who's going to give us a POS perspective. Then we have Saif from Hunger Station. He's going to give us an aggregator perspective. Then lastly, but not least, Ranjit from Urban Piper. So he's going to give us a middleware perspective, who's putting all these things together and giving an absolute solution. To start with, we have so many things to discuss, so I'm just going to straight in get into the questions. So Navneet, the first question's for you. Post-COVID, of course, the dynamics has really changed, right? Being one of the largest restaurant operators, how significant is delivery, right now for you? We saw a spike in the number of orders. Has it stabilized now, or is it still in the spike, to pre-COVID? What do you think?
Hi, thank you so much for having me here, firstly. So, food delivery, the way that the world knows it today, has obviously grown in the back of COVID and a couple of other, with the aggregators coming in and with COVID, it's obviously streamlined. But for Americana, it's been a way of operation for almost 2 decades plus, right? So it's not new anymore, and it's been a center of plate offering from the Americana brands for more than 2 decades here. COVID did give us a blip, and I think it continues to be there. We're growing double digits, so it's a good place to be in. But if I just take a step back, right? Each business model or each channel or each regime per se is in midst of two things. There's the past that defines how was it created and all the insights and why was it adopted in the first place, and the future, right? Which is going to be on the back of, hey, what are the new insights? What's a new customer occasion, new customer demand that we're looking at? So between both of those, we at Americana believe that there is huge potential, and we're just getting started with this space at large. I think we've scratched the surface by giving food within 30 minutes. I think now we're challenging ourselves, saying, can we deliver the world's best pizzas, the world's best chicken, the world's best burgers to consumers, depending on their occasion. So yeah, we believe we haven't touched the peak yet, and there's a long distance to go.
Amazing. Amel, I want to ask this, right? So this is something that just runs in my mind every time. In the food space specifically, we've seen, those hand-buttoned cash registers, right? From there to, I guess, we've seen one POS doing it all. It's just the brain of the business right now. How do you cope up with such a dynamic, such a dynamic situation, across? So we've moved from dine-ins to online right now. So how can a POS really cope up with these dynamics from time to time?
Let me first start by thanking you for gathering all of us. It's really amazing to see all the parts of the ecosystem, having the aggregator hub, the aggregator, the client, and the POS provider. It's really nice. Indeed, I totally confirm what you just said. I do believe here the pandemic played a big role, letting people be more open-minded, more flexible. Before they used always to look for a cashier. a calculator for them. I would like to see my sales. I would like to see my menu. I would like to just manage my table. Then the pandemic made them in a position when they literally need to shift dine-in at least to be a bit flexible when it comes to delivery. Otherwise, they cannot literally survive. So people, they are not only asking for a cashier right now. They are not asking for a calculator. They are asking for a POS when they can see everything connected in one system. They are coming to us, I would like to have my order coming to the POS directly. We are not talking about a POS here. We are talking about the POS and orders coming from the delivery, from the aggregator, going to the aggregator hub, showing on our POS. So definitely there was a big move, and pandemic 100% pushed for that.
Thanks, Amel. Seth, I guess my next question would go to you. While aggregator plays a really, really big role, lately in the whole restaurant space, there's always a lingering, fact that aggregators do charge, high commission. That's like the elephant in the room, right? So addressing that, how do you think, I'd really love to hear from you. How do you think there's more and more value that as an aggregator you add to kind of significantly help the restaurant recover, the high commission rates?
Well, first of all, thank you for kind of like setting this up together. It was really nice to see all of you here. I think I'll take a step back on that question and just sort of think about the past. Like, I think the service or the food service was a bit fragmented in the past. Right? There was a gap, and then the aggregators have come in, and they've really put all the providers in one platform. And they've really tried to, they worked hard to improve the user experience in terms of, findability, searchability, so that an individual or a family, they can find what they're looking for, and they can get their food delivered quite quickly. So even the delivery experience is really enhanced. And that, in part, that makes us drive the order volume and the order share for our partners, because at the end of the day, we work with the restaurants, and we consider them, a huge part of the business, and we want to improve their business as well. So if they're happy, we're happier. So the first kind of like answer to the question is we're driving the order share, and we're making sure we want to increase the operational capacity for the restaurants. So now if you want to increase your operational capacity, or you want to expand, you want to open up new branches, the aggregators will really help you to expand on your order value, and that's really helping you up. At the same time, something that maybe not a lot of people know, we have huge expenses. There's infrastructure, there's platform. We have multiple teams working, around the clock to make sure that the platform is up and running, to make sure that the experience is smooth. We have, massive operational and logistical teams, which all kind of, end up in a bigger cost. In Saudi, for example, we even there are government fees. There's like CITC for fees, which is like the Communication and Information Technology Center in Saudi. So per order, we actually have to pay a small, fee for them as well. So all of that, adding that all up, our cost is actually quite high as well. And we want to make sure that our unit economics is healthy at the end of the day. But at the same time, we want to drive, the order share for our restaurants. So it's a win-win situation. So that's how we kind of tackle it.
Right. So, Ranjit, you kind of you are as a middleware, kind of do have access to restaurant, to the POS, and also the aggregators, right? What kind of shift do you really see post-COVID? Now that the online delivery drive is at its peak, what kind of shift do you see in the market right now?
Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, so I think it's a very good question, actually. So first of all, thanks for having me in the panel. I think the first shift that I really feel, in pre-pandemic and post-pandemic, so I've also worked at Uber Eats. Like, I've worked in a significant amount of time in Uber Eats as an aggregator. But what I felt is, pre-pandemic, there was a very functional connect between all sides of the marketplace, like your restaurants, your courier partners, your delivery partners, and your customers. Everyone were connected with a functional aspect that yeah, online delivery is something that we need when we can't go and dine in, right? But when COVID happened, like when lockdowns hit, every side of the marketplace saw an emotional shift towards online delivery. So for example, restaurants, their fine dine revenue came down. Online delivery was the only way they could bring that up. So there's an emotional connect building there. Then for career partners, like delivery partners, like that was the main source of income for them in a point where it was very difficult to find, jobs. So that also created an emotional connect in that side of the marketplace. And even for restaurants, like even for customers, especially for the bachelor segment or someone who was actually looking at dine-in food, when lockdowns happened, restaurants dine-in stopped. This was the only way they could get food, right? So it actually created an emotional connect, and the whole ecosystem became a little bit more tighter. And I feel the use case of online delivery became more strengthened post-pandemic. And that's why we say that's here to stay now. And it's just not a facade, right? I think that's one bubble that got broken with pandemic, I feel, right? That's on the restaurant and the food delivery side. And from the pause angle, I think Amel has already talked about how the evolution has been. And I feel the evolution is on the tech stack of a pause, right? Today, everybody is looking at online features that can actually aid in the online delivery, right? We're looking at pauses. I can see pauses that are just coming in and saying we are niche for cloud kitchens. We are not even working on the fine dine space. So that shift happened with online delivery kind of moving up. And I guess overall, all sides of the marketplace have benefited positively with the pandemic, especially the food space. That's what my take.
Thank you, Ranjit. Navneet, coming back to you, I guess in the UAE, let's talk about UAE market specifically. We have so many aggregators, right? Multiple ones, but everybody has equal amount of market share that gets you, a new revenue, stream, I should say. Now, with having so many aggregators in place, of course, comes a lot of tablets and a lot of, challenges. What is that major challenge, for a restaurateur? Is it timely delivery? Is it operations? Or is it, anything else that you seem, to be one of the biggest challenge for having all these aggregators?
I think great question, thank you. So, see, each aggregator today, so as Americana, we would love to work with more and more aggregators, but we don't work with everyone, right? We don't work with everyone because the complexity of adding that aggregator should give me enough return of adding, of getting new incremental consumers or being able to target that consumer differently. Each of our aggregator partners that we work with in UAE has a particular role to play in the portfolio, right? There will be an aggregator which is going to be serving a particular geography with a high average check, while some other aggregator is going to be targeting a different cohort of customers which are not present anywhere else, right? So each of those will have their own, unique customer base, and if the customer is happy with dealing with them, we're more than happy working with the partner per se, right? So it's obviously a great place to, and I think I'll touch upon your earlier question on commissions, etc. as well, right? It's not one size fit all, purely because each aggregator comes in with their USP of, the kind of customer insights that they offer, what led to success of the partnership, a decade back is not going to be the same code. So today, as a restaurant, I'm looking at more insights, right, which can help me fine tune, hey, not just offerings today, but innovations tomorrow, customer behavior tomorrow. Could my pricing strategy, could my discounting strategy, could the innovation that I put in the outlet different from, from one aggregator to the other? So I think it's purely, in the ecosystem, it's about how do we share value with each other and grow the ecosystem together. So that'd be my take. Now this is where the advertisement comes in. Yeah, there could be multiple aggregators, but then there's Urban Piper, so helps. But no, on a serious note, I think the more the better, the more aggregators who've got a solid base of customers and customer retention, the more we would love to work with them.
Amazing. Amel, my next question's to you. So whenever we talk to any of the clients, right, they have a wish list. I always call it a wish list because they have series of things that they want to take care through the POS system and only the POS system, right? So how do you keep up with, kind of delivering these wish lists to restaurants? Because every single brand or a business has their own kind of complexities. How do you kind of match with the expectations of the current trends?
Good question, actually. It's basically keep building the ecosystem. We cannot do it by ourselves, as simple as this. Growing together has been always a part of Foodix DNA. Ecosystem is literally at the heart of everything we do. We know the struggle of a restaurant owner. We know the struggle, for example, let's say a client who is having multiple devices where he needs to receive orders. He needs to download a report from this platform, upload it again to another platform. It's a complete waste of time. A lot of errors is coming with that. A lot of headache for the restaurant, for the manager, for everyone, basically. So we can say that we are proud to have 70 third-party integration live in our marketplace. And we do give these trusted third parties access to our 22,000 restaurants. Again, ecosystem, this is how we keep empowering restaurant and partner as well. But again, this is not something that we can do it by ourselves, of course.
Mel. Seth, my next question's to you. So, at a point, I guess for aggregators, it became really impossible to keep up with the stats of how many POS partners do you have to partner with to push the orders directly, to keep, the operational efforts at ease for the restaurants, right? That's when, as aggregators, in the recent years, you've kind of partnered with companies like Urban Piper to put everything just in one place, at ease. How do you think this has helped, both ways? So for a restaurant, how do you think this has helped? And as an aggregator, how do you think this has helped you guys by having a middleware in between?
Sure, yeah, good question. So basically, we've definitely seen a trend, specifically with SMVs, so like small to medium vendors, some AAAs as well, but as you can imagine as like, let's say, a medium-sized cafe or restaurant, what you want to focus on is you want to get more orders processed. You don't want to be focused on, getting the order on a tablet and then having to process that and then having to punch it on your POS. So there's a gap there, and where the third-party integrator like Urban Piper, where they can help with, is they can help to speed up that process. So you can now receive all the orders directly into your POS. And that's going to give you a lot more time to basically work on your capacity, to maximize the capacity, and you can order more, you can process more orders, basically. So that's in terms of the restaurant. However, in terms of us as an aggregator, it also helps us out because, I can do one integration, let's say with Urban Piper or with XYZ, and that company will go ahead and they can onboard many restaurants and branches without us having to intervene and to do a specific new integration every time. So it's a win-win situation. We just got to make sure that the experience for the end customer and the restaurant is intact and it's beautiful and it's smooth, and that could really help by building a strong integration. So that's how we look at it.
Great. Ranjit, so there are multiple lingering issues that the restaurants, that they face every day in, day out, right? What are these 3 challenges that you think are plaguing the restaurant industry? And how's Urban Piper really solving these issues for the restaurants?
Sure, I think I'll just speak specific to the online space, right? So I think the first important thing which I feel which is plaguing the restaurant industry is lack of data clarity, right? So I think the amount of data hygiene that restaurants maintain still needs to go up a lot, right, in the industry. Especially now also, like when we go and we talk to restaurants, like when we talk to single outlet brands or multi-outlet brands, we realize that they still don't understand the importance of, having a ground on their data or hold on their data. And everything trickles down from that, and how much you know about your data, right, on your restaurant, be it a single outlet brand or like multi-brand or cloud kitchens. So I think what we do, like what Urban Piper does, is we have insights, like we have a dashboard called Atlas, like which every brand can leverage. It gives in-depth insights into understanding different trends, like if you want to understand which SKUs are doing well for you, like if you want to go deeper into understanding trends on your revenue, top line, on how different aggregators are doing. Especially with proliferation of more and more aggregators, it's important to know like which aggregators are doing well for you and get that through, right? So I think data is one thing which I still feel is not there yet. I think restaurants need to be educated, and I think we are all doing a part in that. Second most important thing is I think the way we approach a menu, in the online space. I've seen a lot of restaurants saying, hey man, just take the picture of the dine-in menu and put it on online. Like, we just go with that. But I think there's a lot more to it. Like, there's a lot of science involved, in terms of understanding how you can make a delivery menu attractive to a customer. Because the barrier to exit for a consumer in the online space is extremely low, right? So if I want a shawarma, like I go online. If I don't find it in one restaurant, I go to the other restaurant. But in the fine dine space, that was not the case. Like if I want to go to one restaurant and have food, I'll go there. So the loyalty is also less, from discoverability is also kind of solved for scale. So I guess it's important for restaurants to know that menus need to be built scientifically, especially if you're a delivery-only kitchen or a cloud kitchen. And I think what we do well is like we give, again, gets back to what we do first, like we give them that data to understand like how do you set your menu well? How do you get the best quality SKUs to come up? Like, with proper data backing them. So I guess that can be leveraged by most of the ops teams at, restaurants to kind of get that. So that's the second important thing, the way we approach menus. Third is efficiency, right, of running the business. So I think the way you run online businesses is so different from the way you run fine dine because there's a lot more costs involved. Your bottom line pressure is high. You need to ensure that operational efficiency is at its peak. So I think what we do is like, again, we provide something called the Restaurant Health Index, which restaurants can use to understand how much canceled orders, what's the lost revenue. And you can get that at a location level, right? So even if you're a cloud kitchen and you have like multiple brands running out of different locations, you can understand in each location what's the cancellation looking like. Go there, understand what's happening, bring it down. So I think these things actually make a huge impact in making the restaurant overall successful in the online space.
Navneet, the next one's for you. Just a quirky one, right? So pizza as a category actually, started the whole delivery, right? That was one of the first food item that really came in a package for us, delivered home to enjoy at home. Now, we've been seeing drones doing the delivery and things like that. When do you think we can see flying cars delivering food for us? Do you think that's ever going to happen? Because I saw a flying car in Jitex the other day, and I was really, amazed to see, will that ever happen in Dubai?
Well, it should surely happen. And I think to a quirky question, let me give the answer this way, right? We're just waiting. We're waiting for our aggregator partners to get their drones right, and our middleware partners to get the integration sorted. We're ready with the world's best pizzas available. So,
thank you, Navneet. Amel, the whole industry in food space, the restaurants, it's so fragmented, right? What does Foodix do to kind of augment the whole fragmented data, to keep up with the standards of what the restaurant needs? What's that thing that Foodix does differently to fix that issue?
I would say I keep focusing on solving problems that the industry and the market are facing. We are a community-driven company. When it comes to technology, and I like your previous question, there is no limit, right? There is a lot of advantage maybe that I can list versus our competitor. Of course, each POS or each company has a strength point, but I would say mainly it's the value proposition that we are bringing to the entire industry. First, I would list designing and implementation on scale. At Foodix, when we do things, we do it on scale, as simple as this. When we launch a specific feature, for example, we call between 300 to 500 customers. This should be done within 3 days. And I don't think a lot of other companies are doing the same. We have 80 consultants. They are part of our Center of Excellence, and they are the one driving this kind of survey and questionnaire. So again, things on scale. Something else, I would say, the ease of doing business. Today, the POS is not being used only by top management, C-level manager. The barista use the system, the POS is using the system. The marketing person needs to get some data when it comes, especially for the audience, to use the POS as well. So the POS should be whatever feature you will keep adding to it, it should be very user-friendly to everyone. I will come back again to a community-driven company. We are helping the community to grow, start their business. I do believe recently we announced our partnership with Ministry of Economy in the UAE, being their strategic partner when it comes to technology. And the aim of these entire initiatives, it's only to empower SME. There is no commercial out of these initiatives. It's basically to share knowledge, to share experience, to empower them with training. We are bringing consultants, let them learn more how to launch a business, and especially how to survive after the first 3 years. The first 3 years of the business is always the heaven. You will have support from the government, from the supplier, from your partner, from your aggregator hub, from your boss. After 3 years, you need to discover. Last, I would say something about being affordable, of course. We are way much cheap than other legacy system. Yeah, you like it, right? We are not. And support. We cannot talk about POS without talking about support. We do have on-ground support, and this is kind of a must for all the customer. An F&B restaurant will need certainly a support. He will need to WhatsApp, he will need to call, he will need his account manager to visit and to support. We are not expensive, huh?
Well, you're not, I'm sure. Zev, something I was thinking. How do we all get free, food on Hunger Station? Is there a coupon code that we can all use?
SAF 2022.
Guys, if you visit Saudi, we will give you. Because we're not operating in UAE.
That is actually not my question. So my question is actually on the new challengers that's been emerging in the business, right? So there's new player every month we hear about. How do you cope up with, so many entrants and so many challengers that's just getting into the market first? And secondly, what do you see in the next 5 years? What's going to happen? Will we have like about 10, 12 apps to just scroll around, looking for food? Or will we have just one winner out of all the thousands or hundreds of entrants in the market?
That's a really good question. In terms of, it's actually quite a fierce competition at the moment. And what we've noticed is that the end customer are becoming very aware and careful about their purchases. And they look for the best value. So that, in return, it puts a lot of pressure on us to make sure that we give the best value in the most cost-effective way. And that means, we do a lot of things. For example, we do a lot of R&D to make sure we're coming up with a lot of features to support, different models. For example, a lot of aggregators are experimenting with dine-in, they're experimenting with custom meals, they're experimenting with really different models. At the same time, we work on reducing our delivery time. We work on reducing the, apart from the time to give reduced delivery fee as well. So all of that, and that goes back to the commission question, is there's a lot of work that really needs to be done to make sure that we optimize our operations, whether it's logistics, or whether it's a product-wise. Now on what's going to happen or what I think is going to happen, it's a very interesting question, and it's a very exciting space to be in. Because let's think of what happened initially and what's happening now and what might happen in the future. So a few years ago, there was a few startups that started maybe in each country. And then we've seen a lot of mergers, a lot of acquisitions. And what I see now is there's a lot of convergence, so not just acquisitions. So what happens, so for example, if a platform is really good with food delivery, they might be moving into the grocery space. And if a platform is good with groceries, you might see them moving into the food aggregator space. And on top of that, we're going to be seeing some platforms really going to different verticals. So I want you to imagine this. You can log in one day, and you'll be able to order your food. You'll be able to order your groceries. You'll be able to order your medicines, your pharmaceutical products, and also home services. So if you look at, let's say, a good winner in the market, which is Amazon, they started off with selling books. That was the beginning of it. And now they expanded into pretty much everything. So I think we're going to see some of these ecosystems that have really worked hard. They're going to be successful to becoming more of a super app where you're going to be seeing a lot of verticals, and you can actually order a lot of things on your daily needs, basically. So a very interesting space. Hopefully, we're going to be seeing drones as well at some point. but yeah, it's really expanding. There's a lot of ideas, a lot of R&D is happening, and we're working really hard to introduce new products. For example, us at HungerStation, we just released the biggest product for us, which is like vendor portal. It's a portal where you can log in, you can do your day-to-day activities, you can check your orders, and you can buy premium positions. You can do a lot of things just from one place. And there's a lot of products being shipped and features all the time. So that's what I have to kind of say.
Thanks, Ef. Ranjit, you've worked with Americana, you've worked with Foodix, you've also worked with HungerStation, right? What are some of the key learnings out of these partnerships, that you'd like to highlight so far?
Sure. So I think I'll go with Americana first. So Americana is a story all our sales people, when we go to MENA, we meet a customer, the first thing. Long time ago when we thought about MENA, there was Americana. So, Americana is where we started, as a journey in Middle East. First customer we had, and we still have them with us, right? So I think our journey with Americana has been great. And, my co-founder also keeps telling me, sometimes good customers come in and they help you enhance your product a lot, right? Because they bring in a lot of use cases. And so the amount of use cases that Americana has brought into the integration spectrum for us, we've actually stress tested so much. We've learned a lot. The tech infrastructure has become better and better. And we are still learning, together. We're still learning how do we make it better. So I think the learning curve with Americana has been more around the technology aspect, on how do we complex menus and different kinds of architecture that we've dealt with at Americana, and really thankful to the support that we've got from the brand as well. And it's probably the highest LTV brand for us. So that's about Americana. Foodix, so I think it's fairly young journey for us with Foodix, but it's been a good journey. But and the road ahead is more exciting. I think Foodix is also partnering with us to kind of get us out there. Together, we're on the marketplace, and I think the best moment for us was the moment that we got integrated with Foodix. When we can actually, because every fourth person I talk to in KSA in Saudi Arabia is integrated with Foodix. So now it's easier for us. We can just say, hey, we're integrated with Foodix. We can go ahead with the conversation. Or else it was we'll get back to you. So I think that's been amazing. And with HungerStation, I think it's been such a long wait for us to kind of get, because we really know that Saudi Arabia, for us, for example, for Urban Piper, any market is open for us only when we have the key integrations in place and when we have key POS integrations in place. So for KSA, it was HungerStation that was very important for us. And it took quite a long time. We got support from Saif, Akram, everyone. And yeah, for us, the best moment was when we actually went live with the first outlet. And now we're live with hundreds of outlets there. So yeah, that's been the journey so far.
My next question's to you. I'm just going to quickly ask each one of you all just a personal question, right? So what's your favorite food that you binge on, Navneet, when you really feel I need to binge on something? What do you binge on?
Okay, this is a tough
Please
one.
don't tell me Pizza Hut or any of the Americana brands, please.
Okay.
We know you binge on that every day, though.
Oh, every day. Yeah, actually. Okay, yeah, it's a tough one. But I think life before Americana, I used to work with Pepsi for more than a decade. So yeah, I think the Pepsi and the Lays of the world still has my heart. So yeah, that is what I'd binge on.
Well, Amel, what do you binge on when you feel like you need to eat something? When you feel low, or whenever actually.
Yeah, I would like to reply here, but I would like to ask the audience, anyone tried Tunisian food before? Tunis? How many people? Oh, wow. I will take you for lunch. Your lunch is on me.
And me too, huh?
This is really good. Definitely Tunisian food for me. I'm trying to be very flexible, to try new food, but Tunisian will stay for me number one.
So I'm guessing we'll have to go out for a lunch sometime soon.
100%.
What do you binge on, Seth?
I've been living in Dubai for a while, so actually a few years ago I started going into more spicier kind of flavorous food. So I would say, Indian, Pakistani cuisine.
Tunisian is spicy, huh? Just, yeah.
Tunisian, is it?
Very spicy, believe me.
I know what I'm going to have lunch today, so. But that's basically, it's just like Indian cuisine, just I love it. Yeah.
Ranjit, and you?
I'm from Kerala actually. In Kerala, like everybody likes parota. I don't know how many of you have it. It's called Malabar parota, very crispy. It's a bread item. Yeah, anyone can tag along, like I can get that for you guys. But it's parota and chicken curry, but I can't find good ones here. You'll have to come with me to Kochi. It's in Kerala. We can go. We can have that. That's what I have.
Well, it was a really interesting discussion, of course. Thank you all so much for accommodating this panel discussion in your busy schedules. Really appreciate it. And thank you all for your patience. I'd love to say hi whenever you're out on a break. I'm at stall 11. Just a friendly discussion. We could just catch up on coffee sometime. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.